should be going. Okay. Now I will also share my screen in Discord. Alright. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? I will also share my screen in Discord. That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very dark.
Very dark?
I think this is an HDR thing. Hold up.
Is anybody else seeing it's very dark? Feedback?
Yes.
Okay.
Looking for a job?
What's that?
One of your tabs is public works something or other. Technician. Job description.
Yeah. No, my friend is looking for something. How about now? Better?
Yes.
Yep, much.
Much better. Okay. Okay, so we have 2 tanks. I don't see nitrous. He did not sign up, did he? He did. We got Healers is messy, retro. Keys is being a piece of shit, so he won't be here. Chanty and... Okay. Oh, we're recording. So we're just going to go through what we're going to be typically doing. Please feel free to ask questions. We just want Dragon Soul to be as smooth as possible. Okay. So as we all know, our boy starts at here about 10%. I'm just going to make a couple of these. So we'll start off as a group, moving up to 10%, and then he's going to split. Okay, so kind of what we want to do in the early part of the split is kind of keep them kind of close to the road, okay? But you are consistently going to get the crystals that are going to spawn out there. The goal for this basically is... for soaking for the group that's going Thursday, we will have a sign, so it's probably going to be the Holy Paladin. And then, Retro, are you familiar? Messi knows a disc pre-spec that he can soak.
Okay.
Messi, will you get with him to go over that? Because if it works with you on Thursday, I'd like to do it with him.
Yep.
Okay. So that means you're just not having to run the crystal. You and I are just slapping hands on Monday, Retro, because I'll be with you. So he'll go over the means for that. But basically, we spread out. 3 people need to soak it. Don't be a hero. And then range, try to be close in. On PTR, we had mages and hunters that were kind of too far out. We just want to stay as close as possible, especially getting to 20%. That's when we'll start cycling cooldowns such as barrier for a slam and then paints up and stuff like that. Overall, we got this fight pretty quickly on our second time in PTR, so I'm not too worried about it. The videos are up, but it's just pretty much 3 people soak the crystal. In Black Phase, look for pillars of 2 together, because the ones of 1 are kind of misleading and you'll be behind it, but you'll still be getting hit with the debuff. So look for pillars of 2. It's also nicer if we group up. We'll be marking the tank with a marker, just kind of so we can be in one area, so it's easier for the healer to top up if we're low after another mechanic.
Also, can't you like squeeze in DPS between the shards?
Well, after the black phase goes, you have time before they do a shard. I think it's like 20 seconds. Okay?
No, I mean like during the black phase when all the rocks are up.
Yep, ranged can go max range behind it and keep DPSing. Please keep DPSing. So, you you move behind it. If you're too close to the pillar, you also take the stacks, and it's not worth it. So just make sure you're behind a pillar of 2. Try to be with the group, and keep DPSing. It's very simple. This boss melts. So we just got to be focused on mitigating damage and being where we're supposed to be and doing the mechanics properly, especially with the resonating crystal and then the stomp. You can't be too close to the tank if you are a DPS and you're not the one assigned to a soak. But yeah, pretty simple. Questions on this fight, comments, concerns?
Feels easy.
It is. Here's the real boy. So your Sanj we got down and on PTR after a decent amount of pulls. The thing I'd like to talk about really is you have your slimes. Red, black, and you're kind of experiencing them in the dungeons right now. So your green, that's where you have to lightly spread out. Red, if we get a red and we're letting it in, you need a pixel stack on the boss. It sucks for hunters, I know. Yellow, it's going to make him do double and do more damage, so he'll do a second. If we get black come in, he'll get 2 sets of adds. This is pineapple. Pineapple means it's, oh shit, we need to burn lust. With this one, you're killing green, and we're going to lust on it. Okay? And we need to be pixel stacked. And we'll get 2 sets of black adds. The one thing that Jax called out when we were doing this is when the slimes are coming out, stay together so they're grouped up as best as possible. And the reason for that, we just need AoE. The thing I'll say for healers is familiarize yourself with the shadow one. With this one, it's what your heals cause, buffs, and stacks.
We'll probably split groups this time instead of just having me babysit the whole raid.
Yeah, because what I was going to say is what you called out is letting the Holy Paladin just kind of monitor it, because there isn't a lot of healing that really needs to go out. If it's involved with a black as well...
It will, yeah.
Yep, typically you're going to have that with the ads. It's looking at the mages and utilizing your defensives if you're getting too low. If you need to block, if you need a bop, you need to say bop myself. I will typically call to do bops on this one, but I really feel like if you can manage your defensives properly, it'll help a lot more for the rest of the raid, okay? Typically, our kill priority is going to be yellow at number 1, and then green. And the reason it's green is if a red is involved. For this, the other thing is mana orb. Where do I have an icon for it? No. Mana void. Let's just... So when we get blue, we all are seeing it in the dungeons. We're going to get mana void. That orb's going to come down and it moves. It cannot be slowed. It cannot be... so we need to put dots on it as we go. It cannot go below 15% because a lot of times it'll explode between 5% and 10%. It'll just go. When the first one comes, that's when we're typically going to do our healer mana regens. That's going to be Hymn of Hope. If we're 3 healing and the shaman's involved, we'll drop Mana Tide, things like that just to get your mana back, and we'll get that low and ready for the next blue phase. I will be gripping it in when we get it low and we're ready to pop it, just to pop up our healers, but we won't pop it until the second blue orb Mana Void spawns again. Faceless ones don't have an aggro table, so if you have one on you, you've been experiencing it in dungeons, it's on you, and they slap. They slap hard. So using your health stones, using your defensives, if you have to use a mana shield or something like that to stay alive, that's what you need to do, especially if Shadow's involved. When Shadow's involved, again, you're taking those debuffs and you can't go buff 5 or we're going to explode. So, again, it's this fight is about putting damage in the right place at the right time. So as the slimes are coming out, Foji or us will call it where to go. That needs to die. Depending on our comp, we might have a melee just sit on the boss. And it's also depending on if we're 2 and 3 or 3 healing it. And then just being proactive as to knowing what other slimes and knowing what they do. As far as cooldowns, healing, it's all about the healers knowing what is involved and using them properly. As far as like Spirit Link, AM, and that stuff. So typically we'll have those. Those are going to be on the fly used because of what we have. We don't. It's not mapped out which slimes you get. So typically either the heal messy will call for what we should use, or it's going to be me. But just be understanding that your cooldowns are going to be needed at the proper time, and we can't miss a use of it. That's kind of your Saj. We got it after, I'd say we put about like 25 pulls into it. I don't see it taking that long, especially with, you know, we're experiencing the slimes in the dungeons every single day, right? Questions, comments, concerns, anything messy you want to add as far as healing for this?
I mean, Shaman isn't here, so the only thing with SLT is the equalizing the health pools and saving that for, again, that really bad black-purple phase, if we get it. But that's really the only specific one.
One shaman's here.
I mean, in terms, like, which one?
Drum.
We'll be switching to Resto?
If we need a 3 heal it for Thursday.
Okay, perfect. I mean, yeah, so just SLT. Wait, he just joined, right?
Yes.
There it is.
Okay.
That is the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, SLT is just primarily preserved even when we want to like panic and try to call a cooldown, which ideally we won't, but it will be for specifically the black and purple add combination for when people do get low with high stacks of purple, and that way we can just really utilize the equalizing the health pools. But that's really the only thing specific for cooldowns. Everything else is just either throughput based or reduction based through Retro or myself, depending on the group, but Thursday will be myself. But no, that's it.
And guys, it's please feel free to ask the questions now. It's better to ask them now instead of when we're progressing and not know something.
I'm still swapping warrior for this fight.
Probably, unless you feel much comfortable. If you're feeling like your Boomkin gear is getting up there, because that would be Boomkin would be nice for the ads, and it's
I
arranged.
have one already.
Yeah, I just feel like the rally would be better.
Yeah, rally would
stuff,
be nicer.
And warrior was absolutely cranking on that fight.
And I'll be gripping the mana void because we're probably gonna leave you on the boss and we'll leave Chad on the boss for the other group. I'll be gripping this in on cooldown, and then to give you the opportunity for slice or sweeping strikes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is the spell list in the strat channel accurate?
I'll have a finer look at it for our triggers and that.
Like I know in the dungeons, Atonement is not building deep corruption stacks, but
So
it previously
Atonement
did.
You can't use. I tried it and it applied stacks.
the dungeon
Okay.
ones have small little variants and bugs, and the damage profiles are a poor comparison of what it actually is. So the purple one, if someone hits max and we're stacked, it will almost wipe us. Versus in the heroic, it's like 10% of a person's health pool. But then the triggers are also very inconsistent.
Yeah, shield does build stacks in the dungeon, but I guess you're saying it doesn't. And I guess you'll find out
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you could shield, but Glyph of Power Word Shield I think is calling stacks.
Like the entire phase just basically revolves around greater heal, divine light, greater healing wave, and healing touch. And just not healing as much as you want to. It's like kind of the inverse of what Juku said about knowing where to put the damage when we need to put it. It's the healing for that specific ad. we kind of have to just like not heal. And when on our kill, like I basically just told the other healers to just don't do anything, and I was able to just do it by myself, just because it was easier to just not have anything proccing extra stacks. But this time around, we'll do the one healer per group.
Yeah, the other thing I was hearing in Jordy's video, he talked about not doing Holy Fire.
Yeah, Holy Fire is a
yeah.
big one, yeah.
And I'm on the Wowhead one right now. I'm going to put a screenshot for the Priest one in the Priest channel.
Yeah, Wowhead says you can use mending in almost nothing else, really.
Yeah,
That sounds about right.
Pallies get a lot of good shit. Because you can cheese it with
bullshit.
Beacon. I'll put the Shaman one in too because Rockthar is in here. So it's in the individual. When you go down to the class channels, I put it in there. This is directly from Wowhead, which, you know, it's from 2011. But this is the reference that I got from one of the guilds that was using this, who was doing Madness on Heroic. So I feel like it's pretty like good data to go by.
Yeah, the only really time that phase, like, it even feels like anything is when it's with the ads. Because if it's just purple on its own and, like, we're stacking for red or we're lightly spread for green, it's not actually... You just can't, like, fill the person's bar right away. Like, let them drop to 30%.
As far as, like, mage evocation, if you're glyphed for the heal, it will give you no stacks. So if you're getting low, evocation's not just a mana tool, it's a heal tool.
I do find
Drain
generally
life
mages
gives no
get
stacks, but that's
completely crushed.
yeah. Raged regen, nothing. So, yeah. Questions on your Saj the Unsleeping? Cool. So we didn't get a lot of pulls on this, which kind of sucked, right? Just really, it's really just going to be practicing. We're going to throw some time at this boss, but if we're not making a decent amount of progression, we are going to flip to normal and focus on other heroics. So our new strat that we're going by, we were trying to do the gimmicky thing, and the 10-man, it just doesn't work with doing that. We need to we're going to start with bouncing the ball 7 times, and we need to do it faster, and it goes immune to hits for 5 seconds, so you can run through it after it hits a group. Okay? As far as just going back and forth in melee, you have to be aware of, you have to be stacked pretty tight, because if you go out to hit it, you're going to take it by yourself, and that's no bueno. Especially as the longer it goes on, it's going to do more damage when it splashes. Again, we're going to go 7, 5, and then see where we're at, because typically what I'm hearing from 10-man groups and logs is you get to your 3rd transition and you focus the boss. You don't, in black phase with the tentacles, you don't kill tentacles. You kill the boss or you die. This is one of the more harder heroics that are in here. Thus, I don't want to throw too much. We have a graphic that I put in. Let me grab it and I'll pull it up on my screen. Warlord. Browser. You guys can see that on my browser, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is typically how we're going to start. This is where the 10-man claws, eyes, and spawn. The flails are the most important things to die. For me, once we go into this phase, we're going to kind of stay grouped up, and we're taking the most damage in the beginning of transition phase because of how many things, and it gets easier as things die. I will bring boss over to claw. I will hold the claw. The claw is not a focus at all. It's the lowest focus of things to do. But we have a majority of the group starting here. We'll have the melee over here. It'd basically be a healer and, you know, Juro or healer / Chad start on one, and we work our way around and meet back at the claw. again, it's all about using your defensives and making sure our healers aren't overly extending themselves, because this is a rough healer fight. It's going to be 3 healed. And just putting, again, the damage in the right place. The flail, the eye. We'll probably, for the group here, we'll probably use barrier once we get in for that group. And then over here you have to use defensives for yourself because you won't be in the barrier. And then rinse, repeat, bouncing the ball, using defensives, and basically it's me moving the boss and also using defenses from you guys for the frontal. So, because depending on how bad that hits me, it also heals him. The other thing we were running into is we were doing groups that were like this for the bumps to stay in the phase longer and stuff like that. But he is still getting more powerful even though we're doing longer bumps, so it's just going to be a tank wiper. I will be in different gear. I will have a beef set. I'll probably have like 60k more health than I did in that raid. So we don't need to be that far. We just want to get the bounces in to get the debuff on him so he takes more damage so we can just hit him as fast as possible. Questions on phase 1 where we're just beach ball bouncing? Okay. And then phase 2, we'll have assignments as to who's going here, but it's typically just going to be a healer in the melee. So again, Juro, and depending on who I want to put over there, if it's the disc or I put the shaman over here or I put the shaman here. So follow what you're supposed to do. Know your kill order. Priority, it goes flail, eye. The one thing I will say in the eye is they can be interrupted. If they're standing upright, they're not casting. If they're lurched over, that's when you can interrupt them. Does that make sense to people?
Yeah.
Okay. Preventing as much damage as possible is key in this part of the thing. It's just, this fight just sucked ass. I did not like it. So, question. Oh, go ahead. Nope. Okay. Question on phase 2 at all?
How long does it? He gets a damage amp in this phase, right?
Him?
Yeah, on him.
He
Does it?
takes more damage. That's why we're bouncing the ball.
Yeah, I'm saying like how long, but it only goes up on him in phase
We
2,
do
right?
two tentacle phases. We blow lust, we kill him.
Yeah.
We burn him from there from like 35%ish.
Yeah, so that's what I was meaning. When you get to the third intermission, we're staying grouped on the boss. Like, we'll go to the claw, so because I have to have aggro on it or it's a wipe. And
Yeah.
we kill him, or he kills us.
But the damage amp just falls off of him like as soon as we go back to bouncing, like after
Yes.
one set of these. Okay.
And then the other thing we are doing is we are going to dispel some of the debuffs healers. So what that is running out of the group and saying my name, dispel me. So we'll probably dispel like 1 or 2. Keys and I were talking about, because in his PTR group they were dispelling it, and it worked better for keeping mana.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to that point, because definitely dispel that shit. Even if it's like 2 out of the 3.
Yeah,
and heal
that's
one
the
of them,
plan, of just 2 and leave 1
Yeah.
up.
which is completely manageable.
Mm-hmm. And then the big thing, Retro, Messy, and why is this like this? Drub, just managing your mana properly and just knowing what you can do to maximize it, because these fights are taxing until we start getting more gear. Again, this was without the LFR shit coming into play, and some of it's just overpowered. But once we start getting gear, these fights will just fall over because the power increase is insane. Again, the plan for this one is not one I'm gonna beat against the wall. If we're not making progress, we will cut ties and come back to it another week with a little more gear. because we have other heroics we can very easily get from day one. Any other questions on this fight? And then we just bring in
What was the
Evoker.
time between black phases? Sorry, or not, or the tentacle phase between the orb transitions? What was
Depends
the
on
rough
the
time?
bounces.
Yeah, it's when we let it in. We control.
But like on average, how like for 7 bounce that would be.
I don't have it up on the top
Okay,
of my head.
it's fine.
I could pull up.
I'm trying to think for rough cooldowns, but we don't have any super
25
crazy
mans are
3
averaging like
minutes
7.5 minute kills.
Yeah.
and killing on 3rd transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kill it after the black phase. Basically, they all stack in the middle, blow all their cooldowns and lust, and then burn it.
Okay.
And then right when the claw spawns, the tank drags the boss of the spawn. The claw and the melee go with, but the range just stay in the middle of them. Everyone just stays planted and keeps doing damage. It's a you either have the damage or you don't type thing.
Yep. And that's where you have to make the call, like, hey, we just move on to the next boss, or we bring an evoker.
Okay.
You say an evoker?
Yeah, right here. If we bring them, we win.
Yeah, little Og evoker.
Yeah. Cool. Hagara. Where the fuck? Crystal. So, there are 6 of these. Or 8. Because there's like sub ones that are in the middle. Okay? We will get the Elemental Boy. And we are going to... so Keys wants to run around, and we just do a run. I've seen many guilds that are doing the cross through the middle, and they're pre-spread, so it's instantly broken. So that would mean 2 there, so 2, 4, because it would die here, empowering everybody. And then you have your 2 people here. We will be 3 healing it. So then it would be possibly a split like that. We will start with the running strat, where we just have a group of 2. Pets do count as well, just so you know. So if you have a move 2 macro and you can put your pet near a pillar, it'll speed up the process. That's for hunters and warlocks. But essentially we kill it, we move. There's another group that should be pre-positioned when it gets low to be there. Another group that should be moving to be there. We'll assign you as to who's going where. But we should be able... We need to get out of lightning phase as fast as possible. Once you see this mob start hitting, if you're ranged, you can start moving back. Melee, you're going to just stay there. I'm going to assign melee that they're close, that they are the first ones to move to like one of these conduits. Okay? Getting out of there will save a lot of mana and make things easier. So... Hagara in phase 1, though, we look at our weapons, it'll tell us where we're going, if they're covered in frost or lightning. So as far as the healers go, there's a Furious blows. It's physical damage. I'm going to try to have Bone Shield up for each one, as well as, I'll be watching my Death Strikes to try to get right back up. That's when we'll cycle like defenses on tank. I would not like to use Power Word Barrier, just resort to Hand of Sack, Pain Sup, things like that. There's also people will randomly be targeted with these shards. So say you are standing here. Say HV gets targeted with it. It's going to start hitting with them, giving a stacking debuff. We would need another person to just move over. It can be a healer and absorb it for a little bit. You just got to take turns. It's just personal responsibility. I don't really want to assign this. This is just playing the game with your eyes on. Okay?
Yeah. Help your friends.
Yep. So soak that. Furious attacks. The last thing is, everybody remember Syndergosa?
With ice tombs, yeah.
Yep. So ice tombs are in this one, but it's different. You want to come pixel stack in melee. Healers, the issue for you, and just be aware of, and your positioning, it creates a line of sight. So if they put it, say you're standing here, and because we get 2 and 10 man, and they're standing here, and you're healing me, you no longer can heal me, because that is a line of sight. So if you see where
Yeah.
those are going, you just have to be aware and pivot and move.
Shanix with terrorists.
Yep. Phase 1 is pretty simple. It's on me not being retarded. And as far as you guys just helping each other out for soaking these. This fight is kind of a freebie. It's one of the easier ones. People complain about how stupid it is. Then you get your lightning or frost. So we've done lightning. In frost in the middle is covered with bullshit. If you're standing in there, you're going to take damage. I kind of want to see how much damage you're taking, but...
It's the rough equivalent of drowning.
So we possibly might just stick ranged in there, and because we're going to 3 heal it, just go ham on it, and then melee. That way you can shoot all crystals. I think that's the best way. That's how we're going to start with it. There will be the 4 crystals. There's only 4 in frost phase. Okay, they need to be killed before, and once they die, that's when we go back into phase 1. There will be the ice shards that come around. When you do that, you as a DPS or healer, which a healer you shouldn't be out there. So this is only really for melee and tank. So if you're killing this crystal, the ice wall is coming, you dip in, and you go back to your shit. You can also do this, but I would just stay with yours and dip in for a second. The last thing that's coming in is a debuff. So the debuff will be on you to do damage to you until you get dispelled. Once you get dispelled, it'll leave a puddle on the ground. Just dip in, have it say your name to dispel you. You'll get dispelled, and you'll move right back to your crystal. They don't have a shit ton of health. It's fast. It's just basically being organized. And I feel with putting our ranged in the middle, able to multi-dot, multi-hit, we'll get out of that phase pretty quick. Not a lot special about that phase. The lightning phase is the main cuck of this whole fight. So it's just managing the spread of the lightning to light up the conduits as fast as possible. As far as lust, I'm thinking we do it around execute phase. Just because, it'll be easier. Questions on phase 1, lightning phase, or frost phase? Or the strat that we're using?
Have you guys tried it, leaving people in to take that drowning damage?
Yeah, that's what the plan is.
Have you?
A
Like,
lot
I'm
of guilds have done it and gotten the kill.
It's 9% of your health bar a second for every player in there. So, depending, 20, 30k, well, 15, 20k a second per person. It's a lot of damage.
That it enables you to get out of the phase faster is the biggest thing, because the range can hit all 4.
Can we be preemptively in the middle stacked when we transition into that phase, so we don't have to slog through the orb? Because we're gonna have to stack, and if you want the range to multi-target, we'll have to be in the middle. So can we get there early?
Yeah, there's no reason why you don't come in. There's not a reason to be ranged other than you're
No, I mean
soaking.
as soon as the middle the orb that we drown in spawns, can we just already be in the middle?
Yep.
Perfect. Because if we can't do that, then I don't know. We'll have to see it because it's a lot of damage.
Yeah, 4 people is 80k.
Yeah, I remember
Damage is
originally
technically heal.
trying the stack strat, again, 12 years ago when we were 2 brain cells, and we weren't able to do it. But I was also a damage dealer, not a healer at that point, so I don't know.
Yep, we'll
see it.
We'll throw some attempts. Again, we're not locked in. We can also just move as a group and just dip.
And so this is a 2 heal or 3 heal?
This will be a 3 heal.
Okay, so there is the potential for SLT abuse. How many frost phases are we going to see? 2?
Most likely, at the most.
Okay, well, I don't know. We'll see. Think Glyph of Powered Barrier, SLT, I don't know. We'll see.
This one's also solo tank, yeah?
Yes. The off tank doesn't really get to tank much. Okay. Any other questions? Keep them coming. These are good.
The like ice lance thing where people are having to like dip in and out is it just like a copy pasta of fucking Domo? Like it's proximity based, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's line based.
No, it's
it's a line.
yeah.
Well,
It fixates on someone, and then you have to intercept it to help them.
Yeah, they're attached to like the orb, and then you just step in.
Okay.
And I think you only have to take like 4,
Yeah.
3 to 4 for the person who is the original target for them to reset their stacks, and then you don't want your stacks to get high, so then you just like step out, sort of thing. And I think on 10 you get 3 at a time. Sounds like a lot, but
Yeah.
I think it's 3.
So. Oh my gosh.
Can we have one for the Ultraxian trash, please?
Ultraxian trash?
Yeah, the roleplay trash.
No, dude.
Can I see pictures?
It's so long though.
All right, baby. I need you to you can sit here and look at pictures. Okay.
I can't get up by myself.
Okay, so Ultraxian, right here, look. Ultraxian basically is a DPS race. It's a 2-tank thing. I will be sharing weak auras with Juro and Nitrous. It's about getting the debuff, passing the taunt, using the extra action button. I really need you guys to have that keybound. If you don't hit it, it's just, it's dumb. This is pretty much what I've been told and watched from the streamers, as 10 man is pretty free. The enrage timer is very loose, stuff like that. As far as tanking, what I've been told and what they've been using is they've been going full send. Reason for that is your defensive. You use all your defensives right away. Yes. You use all your defensives, and then when you get the buff, you are able to. It just basically resets them all, and then the cooldowns are reduced by 50%, and the length of the cooldown is increased by 50%. So.
It's just the defensive cooldowns, right?
Correct. So, for DK it's insane that there's some blood DKs that are going DPS DK is going blood. We're not going to force that to happen. But as far as this, we'll have a Foji add-on. It'll call out names of people who need to stay for the soak, and then the rest of the people are going to use their extra action button. Tanks need to be careful because once you come out from that, you have a debuff. And if you taunt the boss, you're taking 100% increased damage, and you will be one-shot.
I don't want this anymore.
So, when you are looking at the taunting, that's going to be kind of some of the bigger wipes. Because DPS, it's them using their extra action button when they're supposed to. And following a weak aura that's going to play for them. So, it's Coco Melon. The tanks are the ones that need to not fuck up. Please don't, baby.
Okay.
I'm not really going to put anything on there. We're standing still. We're stacked. You can't shred. You can't do...
What's this?
And you can't be parried, so... But it's just a full send fight. We're going to lust on pull and just go ham. I don't expect this... I don't expect this fight to take us very many pulls, just because of what I've heard and how many kills I saw on PTR. As far as questions on this or anything you guys want to add, well, as far as Messi or Jax.
Pisk rank, boss, win.
Yeah, it's just healers have the buffs. Watch a quick video on it to know which class gets which one.
How bird
That's
does
really
Holy Radiance go? Real question.
Yeah.
All right. This is the boss that I would like to get to and throw some heroic attempts at. Reason for that, I feel it's pretty simple. We will have lanes marked like this. And the first phase has our 2 dudes. One of them is a Mortal Strike, and the other one is a debuff. As far as tanks, we have to switch which one we get. We don't want to get a second of the same debuff. But what we'll do is adds will spawn. We try to bring them over and cleave with the Drake. All while that's going on, there'll be onslaughts. There'll be purple swirls on the ground, so please have your textures that you can see them. The small ones need to be soaked by somebody, just use it personal. The big one, we will use raid cooldowns. We will have an MRT, it'll probably go AM into barrier into AM or SLT. Okay, but phase 1 is just getting through 3 waves of dragons. Lastly, there'll be a sapper. They will drop from a dragon and go stealth. We need to be very aware of this. Hunters can throw out a flare. You can put out your ground effects D&D to pull him out. He can be stunned. This guy is high priority. If he gets in there, it's a huge chunk of damage we're taking to the boat. Phase 1 is very simple. Tanks pick these up, face them away. Don't face them towards the raid. They have frontals. And then we switch what we get. And we cleave down the things. The raid soaks. There's strats where they just make the DK just be a B word and go and do all the little soaks while the druid just shows why it's so great. So it just depends on. It's pretty easy to do what we're going to do. This fight for phase 1. So phase 2 comes down. So we get rid of these. This boy goes.
Range, you can dot up the drakes as they fly in the air.
Yep. So new phase comes. We have these guys are going to be stacked. Okay. Tail swipe comes from our boy here. So dragon, it's a dragon. It's going to be a tail swipe. Blackhorn is a prot warrior. He will do a roar. You'll get silence and take damage. He does a shockwave. It's the closer you are, the smaller the area that you have to move out of. We will be tank swapping, but the druid will be tanking Blackhorn primarily because of your dodge. You can go to the point where you can get rid of, like, stacks can fall off, but we are taunting it too. This is a beefy set. You need to wear your beef gear. This is not a DPS set. Many tanks who are in full abyss were getting one shot without stacks. As far as that goes, we can get into some trickery. There are times where he cues a devastate and he hits you while doing another mechanic. You will see both tanks having 2 stacks. That's where we'll look at utilizing a bop taunt. We'll bop a DK, we'll bop a paladin, because we see the devastate ability coming up. They'll eat it. That kind of case. But that's in the moment that we'll do that. As far as taunting goes, when we switch, one tank this tank is the one that's tanking the dragon. This tank is Blackhorn. The Blackhorn tank will taunt and move. Actually, no. This tank that's tanking the dragon moves first, and then go, because the tail swipe we have to be careful because the group is going to. I'm just going to use X. You're going to be bouncing from here to here, at about this distance away. Multi-dotting Blackhorn isn't really recommended. You can put light things on him, but the more damage he takes, the lower health, the more damage he does to us. So he gains vengeance.
Yeah, we'll start doing shit like that later.
Yep. So essentially, we just bounce back and forth, avoiding the shockwave. Tanks, be smart, not stupid. Don't tail swipe the raid. We lust on the dragon to get her out of the fight as fast as possible. Burn your second pot, cooldowns on her. She flies away at about 25%. Then she's gone, and then it's just a tank back and forth, not getting hit by shockwave. And yeah, he hits like a fucking truck.
And again, the lower his health, the more damage. So if you eat something later on, you will get one shot. So
Yeah, you can't eat shockwave.
Yeah.
Again,
And
this
please dodge, Drew.
this fight is not that difficult. It's one I feel we could get, but again, I'm not going to throw much time at it because between my goal for week 1 for both groups is Morchok, Yorsaj, Hagara, and Ultraxian. I'd like to get Xanos, and I'd like to get Blackhorn. Realistically, these are not in the cards right away. We all need to make sure for Spine of Deathwing that we have our graphics set up, because once we get to the final phase, the final plate, the amount of bloods that'll be out, you'll be unit frame capped, and it's going to tax your computer. So I know Bro has pinned some graphic things into a channel, but if you're having issues, I'd recommend doing the fixes. But questions on phase 1 of War Master?
So when we're holding our 2 guys,
Yep.
and the big swirly comes out that Raid has soaked, do we move to it, or is that everyone but us soaking that?
Everyone but you. These charge, and then they'll the other thing I forgot to mention, that these guys do a charge. Believe it's this guy. Okay, he'll charge, and then he'll pause and do his cast and frontal. So you can't be in front of him when he's trying to go back to his tank. If it's looking easy, Juro, when we're getting there for the tank that's holding one, if they can hold both, and then we can utilize basically me, I'll take the fall, and I'll just be the guy that's running around soaking, and I'll also be in the big one, so it's just less taxing.
Is the charge telegraphed with an emote or a mark or anything, and then people who are in the way will get damaged by it, or
Bye bye, night night.
does the charge just go out?
It just goes out from the graphics.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't matter if you're in the way or not.
Yeah, you just have if you're in the path that he charges, you're not taking the damage.
Okay, good.
It's that after he charges, he potentially on his way back to where his aggro origination was, he might pause and do his frontal.
Okay.
Good question. Anything else on phase 1? Okay. Soak the purples, use defensives. If you're going alone, if you see the opportunity to soak it with somebody else, but you always, always, always are soaking the big one. Healers, we need to get people above 80% if a giant one is coming. They will not survive if they're below 80%.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone, keep a reminder for personals. If you are below that and you're not getting topped for whatever reason, that's the time to use it.
That, or if we have enough people, you don't come in. If you're at 10% and the thing's about to hit, don't come in to die, please. All right, phase 2. Any questions on phase 2? It's pretty simple. Okay. Spine. 3 phases of plates. We have our 4 corruptions that'll start. We're going to kill all of them, and then we're going to roll. Okay?
Are you explaining this from heroic POV?
What?
Are you gonna do this from heroic POV?
As far as, because that's all I've just been watching, and
yeah, I just don't know if it's worth going into this right now, because the retention of information is gonna be rather difficult.
Yeah, I feel like once we get to this, when we have both groups getting to spine, or just even one, that group, we're gonna have just another one of these, and it's probably gonna be 20 minutes. And
we can probably get a decent 10-man VOD by then.
Yeah, and the thing I will Juro, do you have a retail account that you use?
I do.
So you are going to be you and Nitrous are the 2 tanks that are going to be doing the kite. I sent you a video about kiting.
Yeah, I saw it. didn't watch the entire thing, but I watched most of it.
Yep. So basically, when we get to the last platform, you're just moving along here and shit like that, and just you will be nameplate capped. A lot of groups, these are 25 man. I saw a lot of that. I didn't see many 10 mans doing this. But the 25 mans were using prot paladins and prot warriors for stuns just to have a leeway. I'm getting a warrior gear just in case. So I think Jax's point is correct. It's a lot of information I'm throwing at you as far as like day one. The plan is for day one for Tuesday group is going in, and we will post the roster and start going on that. Please know what your class can do for each fight. And if we're not utilizing it and you know there's something good that your class can do to help make that fight easier, bring it up. We will be doing fast recovery pulls. I don't want to see people just going AFK once they die. We need to have a soul stone or a battle res or something quick, and we need to pull and go. Consumes will be provided. Repairs will be turned on for guild bank. I don't want anyone to worry about shit like that. We need to focus on getting boss kills and moving fast.
Yeah. Anytime any word comes up about any of that shit, just send me a message and we'll figure something out.
Yep. The other thing I'll say is, as far as like the epic gems, we are going to sell everything right away. If you get an epic gem, give it to me. We're gonna sell it. We're gonna try to get the guild bank up pretty heavily so we can prep for mop, and we'll be moving that gold over, and that will be paying for helping get you decks in the first phase of mop, stuff like that. So we just want to capitalize on the market as fast as possible. As far as like Thursday's group, again, we're going to start as soon as the raid comes up. Hopefully there's no bugs. And we are going to go as long as people are willing to go. I am not going to pressure anyone to stay. I know, Chanty, you have a hard stop time at a certain area. Jordan also kind of has that. I know Retro as well. We'd like to press as hard as we can. Again, we're a one-day raid week. And I don't think anyone is extremely excited for Dragon Soul. I'm in the mop waiting room, and I want to just create a good community and have fun with you guys, but I do want to smash content, and I do have high expectations of what we can do based on what Jax has told me and what I've seen in our raids, like 52-second Shannocks. Nobody's beat our Shannocks. And that's with bad RNG for Belf for his Combust. So we have the ability to do these things and kill these fights. We have the DPS. It's just knowing the mechanics. So anything else I can answer, provide for you to make you feel more prepared for this for tomorrow/Monday for the Monday group if you're here for Monday.
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry, I got in late, bro. I'm fucking stuck behind an accident.
No worries, man. It is VODed, so I'm going to link to people who couldn't make it. But
Thank you.
yeah. Again, please ask the questions. I'm here. I'll be... Oh, go ahead, Ray.
I was gonna say, I was following most of it. I came in a little late. Exactly how many fights am I gonna be the third healer on tomorrow?
Yep. So
just so
Rockthar
I
and
can
Ray,
look
you're both the healer, the third healer. So the 3 heal fights we're gonna do is potentially your Saj. We're gonna see how 2 heals feel in there, but we'll quickly go to 3 if necessary. Zana's is a 3 heal. Hagara's a 3 heal. That's 3. Boat might be a 3 heal, depending on the damage profile we see for us. Spine, once we get to Heroic, will be... No, we have to do a 2 heal. We won't have the DPS for it. But yeah, so of the one, I'm 1, 2...
So your guys Zonaz and Hagar.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll look at those 3 healing.
Yeah, try to... The biggest thing is I posted in... Did I post in the... Yeah, I posted in the Shaman channel for your Saj. Know what gives a stack and how it gives a stack. Like Healing Rain, as soon as it's put down, it hits us. that's one stack. But if we move in and out of it at all, if you have ADHD like some melee do, and you jump around, and you go back in, that's another stack. So if you were at 4, and you do that, and you're not needing a heal, you just blew up the raid.
Right.
So nuances like that you need to be aware of.
Healing Stream Totem, however, is completely free. Like no ticks at all whatsoever from Healing Stream Totem.
Big.
Yeah, actually huge though.
I do hope that you guys are going to do some heroics. I'm going to get on and tank some more. Try to get as much gear as possible. The trinkets are insane. The weapons are insane. I don't know if your tier sets are good. I have to get 4-piece for tanks. Need to have 4-piece.
I know people were saying like Ellie Shaman, the T13, like looking for raid is good, but it seems like ass to me. I don't know where people saw that. Rockstar still here?
Yeah, so I think the T13 as far as Ellie.
Yep, that's all I'm looking at.
Yeah, so I've looked at it and yeah, like I hit the sim and I see what it's saying, but then I don't know. Like the biggest one of like losing the Fire Ellie one, like I think that mastery shot for 2 pieces is going to be pretty huge. And then I don't think we're lusting on pull for many of these. Like we're usually lusting farther in the phase, so the resto 4-piece for the snapshot's actually going to be great. But yeah, I was looking at the sim for the LFR T13 and
The stats just
I'm not
suck.
looking at like
It's just
not
you
great.
lose so much int in stats. Like it's just not worth it. Even if the 2-piece for T13 is like pretty solid, I still like the 4-piece bonus for T12 too, like the instant fire bolts or the
the instant lava burst.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, especially like doing dungeons as Ellie a bunch, like your flame shock also, because of the amount of haste you get, like ticks so much that like I'm just sitting there on some fights just spamming lava burst. Like I'm not even having to cast lightning bolt.
Yeah, and then what I'll say is for fights, if you're finding downtime for healing, please ABC. If you can be doing damage, please do damage. Yeah, it's gonna be a hard raid. We're gonna do it. Come prepared. I'll see some of you tomorrow and some of you on Monday.
What time was it open? 6 server?
6. Yep.
Yep.
Anybody running heroics right now or no?
I'm about to hop on a tank some. I'm gonna stop my stream.